Hello and welcome to the IGN UK podcast. This is Chris and I'm joined by Gav.
Hello.
And Rory.
Hello.
And we have some exciting news coming up about the IGN podcast in Glasgow.
We do.
But we'll come to that in a minute.
Okay.
We'll kick off with a conversation.
Okay.
Which you came up with, Gav.
Yeah.
What has happened this week that's made you want to talk?
Well, Sundance Festival is happening. And I've never been to Sundance. I've always wanted to go. It's one of those like film festivals that you always see like really interesting films coming out of them. And it always, like, ever since like I watched the Entourage episode, it seems like all the cool people like literally in the world go to this place.
Is it all the cool people though? Or
Well, we're not there. No,
Yeah,
you're right.
it did, and then Paris Hilton started going, and people started saying it's not the same as it used to be. It's not as cool as it used to be.
Well, I've always wanted to go, so I kind of like watch all the films and stuff and come there because like sometimes a film will be announced there. You want to see that film for like 3 years. But this year, one of the there's a couple of good films, but one of the ones that everyone is talking about is a film called Swiss Army Man. I'll just read you what it says.
Well, I purposely did not look up what this was going to be about.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's some sort of Inspector Gadget type man who decides to fight crime.
Okay, so it's...
And who do you think's in it?
Michael Caine as Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
that's good.
And Daniel Radcliffe
Okay.
fighting crime together.
So you probably knew one bit of it.
Okay, here's the plot then. Hank, a man marooned on an island, finds a corpse washed up on the beach and uses it as a tool to get back to the mainland. When the corpse turns out not to be entirely dead, Hank befriends him and must teach him about the world once again. So that isn't the thing that everyone's been saying, because apparently the corpse farts a lot and has an erection for a lot of the film.
Right.
So everyone's
That's
been
a sure
saying
sign.
It's the corpse farting movie.
And the corpse is Daniel Radcliffe.
Is it?
Yes.
I completely guessed that. I did
you?
I did not know. I thought it was a joke. I didn't. I absolutely didn't know that.
Totally knew.
Wow.
Daniel Radcliffe is the corpse.
Yeah.
The boner fart corpse.
Yeah.
So how does he?
I don't know, man.
That's all we're saying
That's
now.
all-
That's all,
okay.
you gotta
That's
watch
all
the
we
film.
know.
Okay.
There were a lot of walkouts apparently
Yeah.
at the screenings. A lot of people came out saying it was great.
Yeah.
Some people I know walked out of it, and other people stuck to the end and thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
Farting Radcliffe. There's only so many times you can do that and it'd be funny, I think.
I don't know.
But maybe it's one of those things where it gets beyond that point where it's not funny anymore and it becomes even funnier.
Yeah. The have you seen? I know I always talk about Trainwreck, but there's a film in Trainwreck that stars Daniel Radcliffe, and that is the similar thing where it's like the joke is it's Daniel Radcliffe,
Right.
And I kind of wonder if this is a similar thing.
That's like at the start of Tropic Thunder, you know, when they have all the adverts for the fake movies.
Yeah.
And there's one where Jack Black is playing like every single family member that all just fart a bunch. That's exactly what this sounds like, that kind of comedy. But then
that-
Adam Sandler does like Jack and Jill, where he
I was going to say
plays
that in terms of
like-
spoof of Eddie Murphy doing
Oh,
that exact
yeah,
thing.
Big
where he-
Mama, wasn't it? Or,
Nutty Professor.
oh,
Yeah.
Nutty Professor, yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh.
so it's a really weird high concept film. If it's good or not, we don't know because we haven't seen it. But I thought we'd run through some of our favorite high or / weird concept films.
Yeah.
So my first one is Speed. Because if you think, like, if you were pitching that as, like, you know...
That's not a weird concept.
No, but
movie.
for me, like, high concept is, like, something you can pitch in a couple of words, in a sentence.
You can pitch Speed in a couple of...
Of course you can.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, right. You're saying it's weird if you can pitch it in a couple of
Well,
sentences.
it's
That's called being focused,
It's a high concept,
Gavin.
like, you know, there's one concept to it that you can explain really easily.
Okay.
So with Speed, there's a bomb on a bus. If it goes above 55, the bus explodes.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds... Like, in the wrong hands, that could be rubbish, I think.
That's true, yeah.
And that's what I think is good about, like good high concept films. What do you think makes a good high concept film, Chris?
What makes a good
What do you think makes a good one? Like, because mine, for me, if it's a good one, it's something that immediately when you hear it, you think that sounds shit, but actually turns out to be okay.
No, I like a good high concept
Failure.
film. Die Hard on a bus.
Okay.
Die Hard in an
There
ice
you go,
hockey
yeah,
rink.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Die Hard. I don't know. A good high concept movie is one that concept is one that makes me want to see the film.
Okay.
So, do you prefer Speed or the Father Ted spoof of Speed?
It's very good. I actually just noticed they've taken Father Ted off UK Netflix.
Oh,
I'm
no.
fuming about it. Because yesterday I really wanted to watch the one, you know, when that priest comes to visit and he's really into like speed metal. I fucking love him.
What's the
And,
Father Ted spoof of Speed?
It's a bomb on a milk float, and it can't go over 2 miles an hour. So they've got these action scenes, but they really happen slow. Like it drives really slowly into like a group of piled up boxes.
Yeah,
that's actually quite funny.
Do you know what it really reminds me of? Like, you know, in Ant-Man, where you keep seeing like it keeps flashing from like the fight on the train set. It's exactly like that.
Yeah, playing with perspective, isn't it? That one does.
But that, you know, I probably prefer that, to be honest.
I mean, Speed when it came out was predicted to be a bomb because Keanu Reeves, he'd done Point Break.
Okay.
But even then, that reputation of that film hadn't really grown to what it is now.
No.
And it just sounded like it could be a disaster. So it was kind of a sleeper hit that year.
Yeah.
I think it's just, as you said, in the wrong hands, that could have been an awful film.
Speed 2.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Cruise Control.
Yeah.
What about you, Rory? What have you got as your first choice?
My first choice for definitely a bit of a weird high concept film is Pan's Labyrinth. Now this one, I saw it as a kid, having no prior knowledge to what it was about. I read the synopsis on the TV guide, and I was like, oh, a girl, you know, getting lost in a magical world, obviously in a bit of a turmoil in the real world. So I thought I'd give it a watch, and wow, that thing gets really weird really fast. It was the first time as a kid, I ever saw that kind of interpretation of fairy tales and parables, but in such a dark, twisted way. Like, some of the scenes in that really messed me up for like quite a while, because I wasn't expecting it at all. It was one of the darkest films I'd seen at that age. So
it's almost like the director's trademark is to have these bursts of violence, just 1 or 2 per film, but for them to be really, really shocking.
Oh yeah.
Quite hardcore violence, actually, that you're not really expecting. But how old were you when you watched it?
Early teens. So it was pretty bad. It's exactly as you said. It's that mix between really weird creatures doing terrifying things, and then just little bursts of just extremely graphic scenes where, prior to watching that film, I would have expected the camera to cut away and kind of the implication of the violence to be there. But nope, it's just like straight on some guy getting his face smashed in with a bottle or something really horrific like that. But yeah, that really was one of the weirdest films I'd seen.
Have you seen The Devil's Backbone?
I haven't, no.
Watch that.
Yeah, you like that.
Similar vibe? Or?
Yeah, and I spoke to him about it once. It's the film he made before, Spanish language film he made before that, and he said that he sees it's about a little boy in an orphanage, and he says that he sees in his mind the 2 characters as not literally brothers and sisters, but they are kind of soulmates. And so it's like a really good companion piece to Pan's Labyrinth. So yeah, if you like that, check it out.
Cool.
And it's less fantastical.
Okay.
What's on your list, Chris?
First one is one I'm sure you guys have seen, Being John Malkovich.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one, actually.
1993. Do you know about it?
No.
Okay.
Blow my mind.
Okay, this is the IMDb synopsis.
Okay.
A puppeteer discovers a portal that leads literally into the head of the movie star John Malkovich.
Okay.
So
You never knew this.
No.
So John Cusack plays, he's a guy who ends up in John Malkovich's head whenever he goes through this little door in his office.
Okay.
And then he's in Malkovich's body for like a certain period of time, and then he gets kicked out and ends up by the side of the highway.
Okay.
Yep.
I watched it.
It's amazing.
It's Charlie Kaufman wrote it and Spike Jonze directed it. I don't know if you know Spike Jonze.
I don't know Spike Jonze.
Yeah. And it was kind of the movie that put him on the map.
It's so good. I can't believe it's like 93.
Yeah. And it was a hard film to get made. They wrote it. The initial script there was no John Malkovich in it, and then he came up with that concept, and Spike Jonze got on board, and Francis Ford Coppola really liked it.
Yeah.
And helped them get Malkovich. But the boss of New Line, who was going to buy it, he said to them, why the F can't it be called Being Tom Cruise? But as they said, that was the only person they ever wanted. Like, he's such an enigma and such a mysterious kind of person that he seemed perfect. And also, they said that it just, because his name says a lot in the film, and it sounds quite nice saying his name.
Yeah.
But it's a really weird film. It's a quite brilliant film. But
you really like it, Rory.
He was worried about doing it. Malkovich was, because he said I'm effed either way. If it's bad, my name's above the title and it's in the title. And if it's good, people will kind of only ever see me as that character. But it's a really interesting film, and I think it won a couple of Oscars as well.
Yeah.
I think screenplay. So 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's when weird works.
Yeah. I've got a weird one. I mean, depending on how you look at it, works or not. The Human Centipede first sequence.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I'll read out the IMDb thing.
Yeah,
a mad scientist kidnaps and mutilates a trio of tourists in order to reassemble them into a human centipede created by stitching their mouths to each other. Like,
Lovely.
it's one of these things, like, if you explain it to someone, they pretty much make up their mind instantly.
But it's that film I felt like was kind of the product of the popularity of the Saw films and like the momentary popularity of those really shock horror films where it was just like at one time the Saw films were like, oh man, have you seen the latest Saw film? Someone has to dive into a pit of syringe. It was like the horribleness.
Yeah.
So when Human Centipede came around, there's like people sewn together in a big line of mess. Like that was kind of the appeal. You're like, oh, that kind of like whole can't look away thing. Like it sounds horrible, but you kind of want to go and see it and see why it's happening and that sort of thing. But did you think it works?
I thought it was all right.
I didn't really like it.
I became a bit obsessed with it because it was playing at Fright Fest a few years ago, and we all got the brochures. Every time I was at the Phoenix, the bar we go to, and they've got the brochures there because they sponsor the festival. You'd always grab someone when they'd had a few drinks and say, read that. Yeah, that's the synopsis. And so we all got a bit obsessed with it, me and my friends. And then I didn't really realise I was going to become quite good friends with Tom.
Okay.
He's been around my house.
The guy who directed it, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote and directed it. He's obviously done 3 of these films now. I'm friends with his sister who produced it. The actor.
I wouldn't let him run my house. I'd be afraid, just in case he
sews you to another human.
Yeah. He's a really, really good bloke. He's really funny. For me, he's an artist first and foremost. His paintings are pretty sick as well. He does like paintings with dog poo and like period blood and things like that. So
he paints with them.
Yeah, he does stuff. Yeah, he's out to shop.
I thought you meant he paints them.
And I really think
shocked Rory.
And I really think, knowing him as well as I do, even though he won't properly admit it, I think it's all a big joke.
Okay.
To him, this has been a piece of performance art where he's just seen how far he can push this.
Yeah.
How seriously when people are willing to take it, how much money he can make off the back of it.
Yeah.
It ended up in South Park. It ended up in
That's a great
Family
episode.
Guy.
Yeah.
It ended up becoming this pulp culture phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I swear that behind the scenes, he's just laughing.
It, yeah.
I've seen the other 2 films. I've actually reviewed the second film on the site.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst film I've ever reviewed, and me and him did have to have a chat about that because I was worried we were going to not be friends anymore. But
that's good. That's good for people who say, because some people think that if you're good friends with somebody, you can't be like objective towards a thing. And
sure,
like you obviously.
Well, anyone that thinks that, read my Human Centipede 2 review because I gave it both barrels. I thought it was disgusting.
Yeah,
I thought it was foul and thought it shouldn't have been made. And then the third one is a bit more broad. The comedy in the third one.
Okay.
It all gets a bit self-referential and referential rather, and I don't know. It disappears up its own arse.
Okay.
But
Zing.
I think the first one's a really interesting movie, and I agree. It's. Do you want to know where the concept came from?
I do. Yeah, absolutely do.
A visit with you to the Phoenix.
This is interesting. Him and his friends were sitting around talking about what they would do to a paedophile if they ever got hold of a paedophile.
Right.
And they said that what they thought would be the ultimate punishment is to sew the paedophile's mouth to a dog's anus. And then off the back of that, it just got him thinking about, that's an idea for a horror film. And
it's good punishment.
Yeah, the
poor dog,
the villain in it. Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that's why he changed it.
Yeah.
To a human, much less cruel.
Yeah.
The villain is a German doctor / scientist, and for him, he sees some of it as his reaction to what the Germans did to the Dutch during World War II. This and that, like he says, there's deeper meaning, but I think he's just taking the mick.
I think like there was lots about the film, even though it's obviously it's got this big disgusting thing in the center of it. I didn't actually think it was as bad as like some of the Saw films. I actually think it's handled really well, and I think like it's really smart as well in the sense of like. You've got, I don't know why I think this is smart, but having someone who doesn't speak English at the front of the sequence in the first one, like there was something about that made it really strange.
Yeah, definitely an interesting barrier.
Like, I don't know, because I think like it's really hard to act that. I feel like if it was one of the American girls at the front, it would have been a lot shitter.
How did they shoot that film? Do they have to cast the people in between?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I could have got
was someone playing the part of like man number 2?
Yeah.
But in
I could have got my brother a role in part 2, and his wife, because my brother was an actor, and his wife wouldn't let him. She said no way.
What if he's at the front? That's fine.
Not that my brother. Not that I think my brother would have wanted to do it, but yeah, they had to do a casting call because as the films, the sequels, there's more and more people in the line, so they had to get more and more people that didn't mind doing that. So yeah, but there's some there's some weird fetishes out there. But yeah, I think the first film is good fun. I don't think it's brilliantly made, actually.
Okay.
I think it's a little bit amateurish. But it's a fun. It's an interesting film. It's you know, and if you don't take it too seriously,
I guess it's so.
worth a watch.
What else on your list, Chris?
My next one is a film called Boxing Helena,
I haven't seen this.
which I'm guessing Rory hasn't seen as
Nope.
well. So
Excited to learn.
actually, that might be the wrong year for being John Malkovich. So ignore me writing that.
Right.
Boxing Helena, 1993.
Okay, definitely then, yeah.
Definitely. Directed by Jennifer Lynch, who's David Lynch's daughter.
Okay.
And the synopsis is: a surgeon becomes obsessed with the seductive woman he once was in an affair with. Refusing to accept that she has moved on, he amputates her limbs and holds her captive in his mansion. Literally puts her in a box, so it's why it's called Boxing Helena.
I assumed it was some sort of physical combat.
Now the
So
reason
yeah.
it starred Julian Sands, who's a pretty terrible actor, and Sherilyn Fenn, who was my biggest crush at the time. I was madly in love with her. She was Audrey in Twin Peaks at the time.
Did you love her enough to put her in a box?
Well, because there was the film got like an NC-17 rating initially in America, so it seemed like it was going to be a bit sexier than it was.
Yeah.
Right.
But it actually became quite infamous.
It's not very sexy.
Because Madonna was initially cast in it, and she pulled out, and then
Right.
Kim Basinger was cast in it, and then she pulled out, and she got sued for $8 million and went bankrupt, Kim Basinger, because she lost the case. So it became this big,
Whoa.
this big movie, and it's like, oh yeah, the movie's so bad and so shocking that she couldn't do it, and then you watched it, and it was like, nah, this just isn't very good.
Right.
And it has the ultimate. I don't want to spoil it in case anyone wants to watch it, but you can guess. It's got the ultimate cop-out ending, which we've all written when we've written stories when we were a kid.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, and they actually did it in a movie.
No way.
If you think that's what happened, but I don't know. So yeah, and it's got a 19% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty bad.
But yeah, man loves woman, man chops her arms and legs off to keep her in a box.
Who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Rory, what's your second?
My second weird concept film is actually one of my favorite films of all time, which is Spirited Away, the Studio Ghibli film. I think this is a pretty interesting one to talk about because it is a weird film, but a lot of the weirdness from it, I think, comes from the cultural differences between the Japanese audience and Western audiences.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that to them is realistic is complete fantasy to us. Like one of the scenes that people talk about a lot is one where the lead character has to bathe. She gets a job at a bathhouse and has to bathe like this horrible slime monster sort of thing. So it comes in, it goes into the bath, and you have all this boiling water pouring down, and the lead character finds like a little hook in his side. She starts pulling on it, and all this grunge and horrible slime stuff comes out, and it's like bursting everywhere, like all this pus and grim stuff. And eventually she pulls out a bicycle, and the bicycle comes flying out, and there's like a big explosion, and the monster turns into like a weird old man dragon thing that whispers thank you and then disappears. To watch that as a child, you have no idea what's going on. It looks beautiful. It looked incredible.
To me, that's not weird, because if you've ever seen my dad wash, it's actually not that similar.
You pulled a bike out of him this weekend.
Yeah. Don't call my mum that.
But then if you actually read up about the film, that was all about the director himself being a kid cleaning up a public river. And of course in Japan, the rivers and parks and trees and things like that, they all have spirits. So when he was a kid, he was cleaning up a public river, and him and his friends pulled a bike out of it with a wire. And that was essentially that in a much more fantasized form.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And as soon as you learn that, you're like, oh, okay, I totally understand this.
Yeah.
It's not entirely as weird as I thought it was, but I think it's really cool to see a film that is definitely weird in a sense, but then maybe when you learn a bit more about it, it's not as actually as weird as you thought it was.
Quite magical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think it's the best Studio Ghibli film?
I think it's one of the best. I'm a big Princess Mononoke fan,
Sure.
and some of the other ones.
If
Ponyo's
people wanted
great.
to start though, what film do you think they should start with?
That is a good one.
Yeah.
It's one of the weirder ones, so prepare to just go on the journey. It doesn't hurt reading up a little bit about it first. Either that or Princess Mononoke, or if you're feeling really brave and you like crying, Grave of the Fireflies is a great one.
I like Howl's Moving Castle.
Howl's Moving Castle, again,
really good.
Fantastic movie. I watched Grave of the Fireflies for the first time at university I was out partying and got back, I think, at
Partying.
3:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh, I'm going to cook chicken dippers. So I started cooking chicken dippers, put on the TV, and it was on the TV. And I was like, oh, amazing anime. So I sat down, I was like eating chicken dippers at like 3 in the morning. I had no idea what this film was. Then, 2.5 hours later, it was just me eating chicken dippers, crying like while the sun rose. That movie is so sad. I think it's one of the saddest films I've ever seen in my whole life.
I'm gonna check that out. I haven't seen that.
It is soul crushing, but beautiful. Really, really fantastic film. But Spirited Away, definitely one of the weirder ones.
Okay, my other one is Dog Soldiers. Seen that?
No.
Okay, so a routine military exercise goes wrong when the soldiers encounter a werewolf.
Okay.
So, like when I think I saw it at uni and was kind of sort of skeptical about it because there can be really rubbish British horror films, but there can be really good ones. But this I really, really liked, and it had a really good cast, and I think it has one of the best werewolf changing scenes.
What about
ever?
Is it Werewolf in London?
Werewolf in London is really, really good. This is definitely up there because it uses a lot of like prosthetics and like real.
What about Teen Wolf?
Like that.
Huh?
Well, I don't know. It's good, but yeah, it sounds like a film that could be rubbish and could be on ITV, but I thought it was really good.
I think it's definitely cool to see a war film kind of thrown into supernatural. Like you don't really see that a lot. Like with war films, like having a bit of a alien vibe to them.
Well, I really like
really
sort
cool.
of British squaddies in films. Like sometimes I think it would be really good. Like I really like the bit in 28 Days Later when they encounter like Christopher Eccleston. Like sometimes it can be quite funny.
Go! It's a werewolf. Someone shoot it.
There you go.
It's cast very well.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It's my favourite of Neil Marshall's films. And actually, Paul
I forgot his Neil Marshall.
his first movie.
Yeah.
And then Paul Hyatt, who did the effects, now directs movies. He's just done his own werewolf movie called Howl.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is a horror film set on a train. So, Dog Soldiers is a blast.
Yeah, really, really good.
I've gone horror. Now, I didn't really want to go down a completely surreal route.
Okay.
But this is as surreal as I'm going to get with my choices. And it's the 2010 movie Rubber. Have you seen Rubber, Rory? This is good.
It is good.
Okay.
excited.
You'll like this, Rory.
So, the synopsis from IMDb is: a homicidal car tyre, discovering it has destructive psionic powers,
Kiss face already.
sets its sights on a desert town once a mysterious woman becomes its obsession.
Oh, I love it so much.
So it's basically a tyre that rolls along. A tyre that looks a little bit like this for anyone watching the video.
Oh, yeah.
My little bit of
Show and tell.
rubber
I love
merchandise,
it.
which is the actual tyre. Well, not the actual one. So this tyre becomes sentient,
Okay.
becomes telepathic, and goes on a killing spree
Yeah.
just by rolling down the street,
Well, if it
rolling through the desert.
is the only way to beat it to hit it on its side, and then it's rendered useless. Surely.
You have to watch the film to find
Okay,
that
I
out.
will.
It's directed by a French director called Quentin, what is his name? Dupieux. And he is actually Mr. Oizo, or Ozio. I'm not really sure how you pronounce that. But he had a hit with Flat Eric's song. Do you remember that?
Flat beat.
Yeah. With
Absolutely not.
It was a Levi's advert. That was a
Okay.
hit. It was a #1 single. Anyway, it is weird. I actually didn't like it.
It's okay.
It's like a satire of B movies and horror movies and the Hollywood output that we all sit through. You know, it takes the mick out of audiences watching. It takes the mick out of you as an audience member watching this film itself.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think it was as clever as it thinks it is.
I don't think it, like, in the bits where it tries to like really be funny, I don't think it's very funny, and I think that's my problem with it. Because like I wanted to watch it because another one which I was going to put on here but I didn't was Christine, because I guess that's based on the Stephen King thing. Because another thing, like, you know, a car killing people, it's fair enough. Just a tyre killing people, even worse.
But again, like you say, that was one where I heard the concept and
Yeah.
thought, I have to see that.
Yeah.
And how the hell have they done that? And turns out, not that well. But
It's the same with, like, in the last couple of years we've had some like alright ones with like Locke, with like Tom Hardy in a car. No, was that Locke? Yeah, it was. Yeah.
yeah.
Or like Buried with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
As well. Like, it's one of these things where you watch and you think, oh, I want to see how they've actually made this interesting.
Yeah.
Like Phone
Yeah.
Booth is a really good one as well.
Yeah, I thought Buried was brilliant. To do an action sequence in a coffin. But yeah, Rubber.
But that's all we've got. That's just some of them.
Is that all? Sorry, no, it was 3 each. So
No. I think you'll find 2 to 3 each. 2 to 3 each.
Man,
I went with
Rory
two.
and put one
I
down.
have one for you though, because I didn't actually put it in because it's a short, but I thought about it a lot. and it's available on YouTube. So it's Superstar, the Karen Carpenter song, a Todd Solondz film from 1987. It's only 43 minutes long, but he decided to tell the very tragic story of Karen Carpenter using Ken and Barbie dolls. She died of anorexia. And it's absolutely haunting, and it's quite brilliant. Like, you think, oh, that sounds tasteless, but it's very clever about the body image of women and how that affected her. And he cleverly kind of whittles down the Barbie doll to get thinner and thinner as the film goes on until she dies. Richard Carpenter, her brother, didn't like the way he was portrayed, and because they didn't have the rights to the songs, he got it banned. So you can't watch it. But it's been on, this one I just watched has been on YouTube for 4 years.
Oh, okay. No,
so I'm not
so
I'm not suggesting anyone go and watch it, but if you're interested,
yeah,
that's messed up.
Awesome. Well, I guess those are our favourite ones, and we'll have to wait and see if Swiss Army Man is any good or not. So moving on to some stupendous stuff, Chris.
Yes, as sort of we've trailed on a previous show, we're going back to Glasgow to be part of the Glasgow Film Festival.
Oi.
The lovely people there have kindly invited us back again to Drygate, to the brewery, where a year ago we did a podcast.
I thought you guys were banned after last year.
Dan, Gav, myself and Mark Miller took to the stage to talk for way too long, like nearly 2 hours, about absolute nonsense, and by the end it might have been a little bit slurry. We'll be more professional this year. It's starting earlier and it's finishing.
Debatable.
It's starting earlier and it's finishing earlier.
Of course,
Oh, of course.
So if you are interested and can get yourself to Glasgow or live in Scotland and fancy it, it's February the 24th at 6:30 sharp. We'll put a link to it in the podcast story, although tickets have been on sale already, and I know they're selling fast. But from 6:30 to 7:30 we'll do our show. Then there'll be everyone will get kicked out, and then if you are interested, there's a screening afterwards of a documentary called Man vs Snake, which is something that we've kind of teamed up with the festival to put on. It's a really good doc about the video game Nibbler from the early 80s, and a man who was the first guy to get $1 billion $1 billion points on any video game.
Awesome.
And then what's happened since, and the fact that he's lost this record and he's trying again. And it's a little bit like the King of Kong. Billy Mitchell's even in it. But it's a really, really good documentary, so make a night of it. We'll be in the bar all night anyway, to hang out.
There's a deal as well, right? So you have to buy tickets, but there's a deal you can buy both. Isn't that right?
I don't really understand the deal.
I think there is, yeah. I think there is. You can either buy one or both, or one or the other one or both.
Yeah.
But
and I'll do a little just to say the festival itself, give them a bit of support. They've got more than 170 film screening, including Hail Caesar, Zootropolis, High Rise, Green Room, loads of sort of retro films they're showing: Raiders of the Lost Ark, Silence of the Lambs, Con Air.
Cool.
All in special locations. Con Air, you're being bussed. I think they're dressing up in jumpsuits and you're bussed to somewhere to watch it.
That sounds amazing. Do you guys need like a roadie or something? I'll come along and just carry the gear. And
they've got a David Bowie season that they actually programmed a while ago.
Oh, okay.
That's good. They've got network showing at BBC Scotland.
Yeah.
I reckon that'll be wicked. Like in the actual offices and stuff, if they are.
Yeah, and science fiction films at the planetarium.
Okay.
I can't remember which one. Yeah, some really good ones.
And
also Fright Fest is there for the 3 nights after the podcast, so they got some great films screening, including a lot that we've talked about already this year.
Awesome.
So yeah, hopefully
it's
we'll
huge
see a lot
this
of you
year.
there.
Like I was just looking through the brochure, like they've got so much good stuff.
Yeah, it's well worth the weekend, and Glasgow's a beautiful town, and we had such fun last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, come join us, come party with us.
Awesome. Rory, what have you put here?
guys, what would you say if I could tell you your commute could take 1 minute?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes,
I would just say the word yes.
Well, that might one day be a possibility because construction has been approved on Elon Musk's Hyperloop. So do you guys know what the Hyperloop is?
Absolutely not.
Essentially, if you've ever seen an episode of Futurama, the tubes they travel around in, think that, but essentially combined with the bullet train. So it's essentially a train full of people that they fire through a tube at almost reaching the speed of sound. To get you to different destinations.
That sounds amazing.
It's already they've already started filling out the permits for construction.
In London?
Not in London. The first one's going to be in California. It's going to be about 1 to 5 miles.
Okay.
But they said it should be able to take you to Los Angeles to San Francisco in 30 minutes.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
And they've already started. The permits have been signed, I think. So construction should begin hopefully in 2016.
No way.
But imagine that if that was like the new standard of transport.
How would it work though? Like, if you're on a train and surely, like, by the time it speeds up, it'd have to slow down straight away. Like, that seems dangerous.
I think it's some sort of propulsion system, so the train is literally fired off from a starting point. But I don't understand how your faces aren't ripped off of your bodies. I'm sure there's some sort of technology in place to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
But it seems like it is actually going to be a possible thing. And in hopefully 2017, people should be able to ride an actual Hyperloop. Imagine how insane that would be in London if you could just get on a train and get shot to the office.
That'd be amazing.
It would be incredible.
Yeah, I love our new office, but the commute is a pain in
killing
the
me.
arse. Like, I was in this morning by 8 o'clock because I just couldn't be bothered trying to get in for 9:30 when we're meant to start work, because it's just so bonkers.
Yeah, I was in at 9, and that's a lot for me.
Yeah.
I was in at 9:35.
Oh,
How was your commute?
Mr. Easy commute.
It's okay. Can't really complain that much. It's 5 minutes longer than it used to be.
You got the Hyperloop, didn't
which
you?
is why I'm 5 minutes late, because I can't adjust. It's so stupid.
Imagine Chris comes in on the Hyperloop and your hair's just jet backwards.
What hair? That's the most exciting bit of news I've heard this year. So thank you, Rory.
No problem.
Well, you haven't heard this yet.
Oh,
Okay.
we're gonna up each other.
I've got some information on... I love Liam Neeson.
Okay, we all do.
I found...
Neeson's. I think you'll find it is.
I love
Liam
Neeson's. He's my shit.
Yeah.
But I found... I watched a lot of like nature documentaries on YouTube. I found loads of them that I didn't... Like, I watched YouTube for like small clips and things like that. But it's only like recently I've started watching like documentaries. You sent me a really good documentary the other day about... I can't remember his name. But one of Spielberg's mates.
The original Maniac.
Yeah, which is awesome. It's like really, really good.
Really
It's like there's all these amazing documentaries on YouTube, and I watched one because I just fancied watching the other day, and which is called Nature Snow Monkeys, and it was narrated by Liam Neeson. It was just brilliant. So it was a documentary about. So I'll give you the blurb. In a place called Hell Valley, high in the Japanese Alps, a troop of snow monkeys clings together for warmth and support in the frigid mornings of early winter. They get important help from the hot springs in the valley, fed by warm volcanic waters, but their survival is a communal effort in a complex society of rank and privilege where each knows their place. It's amazing.
No, but is he in it or is he just narrating?
Oh, he narrated it.
So he's not going to be in it. He's not going to live with the snow monkeys for like a
But
week.
this is essentially just a bloke standing in a booth reading out lines.
Yeah, but it's still
essentially, but it really feels like he's part of that world.
Is this like The Grey? Snow monkeys.
But it's just his voice is perfect for it, because you have these like monkeys and you have like the tiny ones, then you have like this one guy, and there's this one bit where he just goes all the guys and girls are around, but there's one particular guy, and what he likes to do is just hang out in the hot springs with all the women, and if anyone comes over to try and hang out with the women, he sort of gets a bit arsey with them. Even when like kids come over, he's like just leaves kids and stuff like that, and without even trying, Liam Neeson telling you this is just really, really
You
funny.
just imagine him being the voice of the monkey.
Yeah, basically.
See, I think it should be Bill Nye.
Yeah, that would
He
be
did the Meerkat one, didn't he? Is it
Oh,
Meerkat
BBC
Mansion?
one, yeah.
He's quite funny at those kinds of things.
I think that's really good.
I love the infamous one with Benedict Cumberbatch. Well,
Did you do it on purpose?
I thought it unintentionally. Where he can't say penguins.
Oh yeah,
That one is
I've heard
amazing.
this.
I gotta send it to you.
Yeah.
He did a whole documentary on penguins, and he can't say penguins.
Oh my god.
So
he calls them penguins.
It's
doesn't
like
he?
pinglings and penguins.
Penguins.
But someone's done like a super cut of it, and it's like, how did it get to the
That's
point where
awesome.
someone's like, should we tell him? And it's like, it's too late.
Shall we
It's too
tell
late.
him?
It's too late. He's been doing it for 20 minutes.
That's how do you tell someone they've been pronouncing the word penguin all their whole life?
Pinglings.
It's really hard though. Like, I guess because I've had to like produce like comedians and stuff doing voiceovers before, and it's really hard when they can't say something, because you go, oh, you're saying I think it was like fortnight and fortnight or something like that, and I was like, oh, you're saying fortnight, not fortnight, and they're like, oh, okay, no worries, I'll do it now. So next fortnight, oh, you said fortnight again there, didn't you? Instead of fortnight. So let's try that again. Say it again. And like it was like 6 or 7 times, and I was like, I don't know how I can tell them that they're saying forknight again without insulting them and myself. So I was like, it's gonna have to go in as forknight, isn't it?
Have you guys not have any words that you ever found out that you were saying wrong for a long period of time?
There was one word, but only because my mum had taught it to me wrong.
Okay.
And she still does it incorrectly, and when I correct her, she gets actually annoyed with me.
Yeah.
But she says frustrating rather than frustrating.
That's kind of
Until I
cute
was
though.
about
It's like
12.
you're flustered and frustrated. It's like she
That's
invented
annoying
a word.
because you would be really frustrated by her saying it.
Or frustrated.
Or frustrated, yeah.
She just gets annoyed if I bring it up.
Yeah.
The funniest story I heard like that was who's the guy that plays Christian Grey? Jamie Dornan.
Oh, yeah.
And he was on, I think it was Graham Norton, and he was saying it wasn't actually a word; it was an action.
Right.
But he was saying when he got the role, they asked him if he could dance because there's a dance scene.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, of course I can dance," because he wanted the role. And he said, "I can't dance at all." And he said, "Not only that, but I'm really bad at walking." And everyone else on the show was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, like my friends have taken the mick out of me my whole life. Like I don't really know how to walk. And it looks really stupid." And Norton's like, "Show us." And so yeah, he walked really badly, like really stiffly.
What?
And so he went to this dance thing, and the woman said, "Well, show us some dancing," and he couldn't do it. And then
barely
she said,
walk like that.
and she said, "Is that how you walk?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she said, "Do it again." So he walked again, and he said he thought he was going to lose the part. And she said, "You know you're supposed to go heel to toe. And he goes, "What?" And he said, "No one had ever told me that you go heel to toe, so I was just going toe the whole time."
It's just
And he
throwing
said-
around
he
like
said,
dancing.
So as soon as I knew that, I can walk normally now. But he said, "No one ever told me," and they're like, "No one should have to tell you."
You're
That's
making me think way too much
mental.
about it though. I know as soon as it's over, I'm not going to be able to walk to the door.
But the trouble is, he thinks he's got it sorted now. But certainly when I've watched The Falling or when you see him, I know, and him walking and running, he doesn't know how to do it. It's really bad.
That's awesome.
So
That's
anyway, watch it.
amazing.
Look out for Jamie Dornan walking.
Yeah. Jamie Dornan walking, Liam Neeson in the Snow Monkeys
No
documentary.
I had a bit of a chat this week with Adam McKay,
Awesome.
director of Anchorman, Step Brothers, writer of Ant-Man, and The Big Short, which is hot favourite now to win the Best Picture Oscar because
I love it.
It won the PGA award, the Producers Award.
Yeah.
So, really cool guy. Really like talking to him, but rather than ask him about something that is in production, I asked about something that's not even rumoured. Step Brothers. I know a lot of people love Step Brothers.
I absolutely love it,
including
yeah.
you guys. So I asked him if there could ever be a sequel to it, because it does feel like a film that's reputation has grown and popularity has grown since it came out.
Yeah.
And he said, not right now, but maybe in the future. And I kind of pitched him, how about you leave it a long time and have them as really old men in an old folks' home? I stumbled on something. His reply was, we were actually kicking around that as one of the ideas.
That's so awesome.
So,
that is a really good idea
That
as
is
well.
a good idea. It would be hilarious to see
Because
those two.
as he said, the older they get, the funnier it'll be that they're acting like children. So yeah, I hope maybe we'll get a cut of that. I mean, what he said did inspire me to say it, so like I didn't really get it on my own, but I just thought that was a really interesting idea.
I think that's brilliant, yeah.
And he was saying that it's his favourite of his films because of how nasty and weird and aggressive and unhinged it is. And I think there's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
It's like so many things happen in that film that shouldn't be put in a mainstream movie. Or you could maybe get away with one or two, but every 5 minutes it's something.
It's quite funny because even my memories of the film, anytime someone talks to me about Step Brothers, I'm like, oh yeah, it's that quite just like bubbly, fun comedy. And then you're like, oh yeah, he wiped his ball sack on a drum kit on camera. Like, you forget about these little moments that absolutely are just
It's
so
less
shocking.
like a cohesive film and more like a series of sketches.
Definitely.
Like shocking
But it
sketches.
works so well.
But
I
they
think
whack
that's
it
one of the
together really
surprising
well, I
things.
think.
Yeah. The commitment of the two actors is impressive.
It is really good. I'd like to see him, like, because it's really, there's not many times where people have dressed up as old people to be funny and it's actually been funny.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No.
I think I kind of like Spike Jonze dressing up as an old person in the Jackass films.
Yep.
I think that's quite funny, but at other times, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I agree. So yeah, let's wait and have that in 20 years' time.
That'd be awesome, yeah. I can do that. Right, so I've got a thing this week, because I do this in the car. I play this game in the car with people, and I thought we could play it on the podcast. And I did it to Cooper earlier, and he actually said, Chris, that a previous IGN UK quiz that you'd actually done this as well. So I thought we could play
This is what I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
We have done it, yeah.
Awesome. So it's Rory definitely hasn't done this,
No.
and he likes games, so this
Okay.
is good. So IMDb have bonkers keywords for their films, like really strange things. So sometimes they're super vague. It wouldn't be like, if you were talking about Jaws, it wouldn't be like shark film. It would be a tiny film, and like something like character eats pears and things like that. Like some of them are really, really strange, and I love reading them out. Because like every film has about 150, because you can submit your own. I love reading them out and seeing if people can guess what
the
a film
film?
is from the keywords. So
Let's do it.
we've got 5 films here, and I thought we could do this maybe like see how it goes, and maybe do it and set up a little league between us as well.
Ooh, okay.
As a little competition. 'Cause we don't do like quizzes and stuff on this enough. I don't.
We don't.
So this is film number 1. Krupa, out of all these, only guessed 1 film.
Okay.
How many keywords do we get?
You get 10 keywords.
Okay.
And they go from like really vague,
Random to more
Pretty-
specific.
Are these
pretty
are these
obvious.
quite well-known films?
They're really well-known films.
Perfect.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this is film number 1. Shout out whenever you think you've got it. Right.
It's a competition between me and Chris.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah. Title spoken by character. No opening credits. Brother-sister relationship. Pop in a champagne cork. You can have multiple guesses as well. Rain. Tongue.
Tongue.
Microscope. Lifting an adult into the air.
Jurassic Park.
Yes.
What?
Nice. That's good. Okay.
I'm still already confused. I swear I was thinking Jurassic Park at one point, and then there was something that really threw me off.
I think it was tongue, weirdly, that
Yeah?
I
What was
guessed
the-
that one on.
Okay.
Okay. So
I
that's
might
good.
lose this.
Chris, you got 3 points for that.
Okay, that's great
Don't
news.
understand the
It's-
scoring system.
This is film number 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Based on a novel. Anti-hero. Cult movie cast.
Silence of the Lambs.
No. Villain played by lead actor.
Who?
Villain played by
Okay.
lead actor.
Not lead actor.
Lead actor. That's an oddly specific keyword. Bare-chested male. Chainsaw murder.
Hostel? No.
No. Mansion.
I know.
Cocaine snorting.
Scarface.
Yeah. It's another 3 points for Chris.
God damn it.
Okay.
I'm the underdog here.
Krupa got that one on chainsaw murder.
Yeah, I should have got
Chainsaw
Chainsaw Murder.
Um,
Horrible scene.
okay. Film number 3. Critically acclaimed. Sister-sister relationship. Friendship. Dance-off. Terrorism.
White chicks.
Hit with a hammer. Outrunning explosion. Blue-skinned alien.
Avatar?
Nope. Talking animal.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes! Nice!
Hit with a hammer? When is that?
I was
happen?
getting obsessed with sister-sister relationship.
So was
it's
I.
hard, isn't it? Rory, it's 2 points for you.
Why
Very
did I
good,
only
Rory.
get 2 if Chris got 3 for the first one?
Oh, for God's sake, Rory. I don't even have to ask. It's the amount of clues you get it in.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Bloody hell.
There was
we
a
go.
nicer way to advise me of the scoring system.
I just guessed it. I didn't. No one had to tell me. It's like not being told how to walk.
Okay, film number 4.
Penguins.
Rivalry. Deceit. Hairy chest. Telling someone to shut up. Killing an animal. Audience. Flintlock pistol. Actor playing dual role. Rubber ball. Human duplication.
I have zero idea what this is.
Is that all the clues?
The Prestige?
That's all of them. Yeah.
Oh!
Very good.
I got like dirt all points though for that.
No, you got
though,
1
didn't I?
point. It's fine.
Ah, okay.
It's fine. So it's currently at 6-3.
Why have like all of these films had hairy chest as a tag?
Good now. Just like it. So 6-3. So Rory, you could take this for this week.
Okay, if I just get this one really
no.
fast.
This is the last one.
I can't lose to Rory. He doesn't even understand the scoring system.
I'm just saying films.
Here we go. Adoption. Hidden camera. Character name and title.
The Visit.
No. Innocence Lost. Insurance Agent.
Juno.
No. Spatial Loop.
Looper.
No. Storm at Sea. Fear of Water.
Jaws. The Perfect Storm.
Great Gatsby.
No.
Damn it.
Deja Vu.
Deja Vu.
Titanic.
Object Falling from Sky.
Safety Not Guaranteed.
No.
What is this? Object falling from...
Adoption, Hidden Camera, Character Name and Title, Innocence Lost, Insurance Agent, Spatial Loop, Storm at Water, Fear of Water.
I know this.
Deja Vu.
I know this. I know it.
Object Falling from Sky.
Shut up, because he's gonna get it. It's that thing. It's the one with the guy.
Wet Hot American Summer.
No, I know what it is.
That's what I thought it was.
I just don't remember the name of the movie.
Well, you can't have the points then.
No, hold on. I'm gonna get it.
I'm going to give you
No, I already
10
know it.
seconds.
Sugar.
Imagine the countdown theme's playing right now.
Just adding pressure.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Truman Show.
I knew it was the Truman Show.
Oh man,
I couldn't remember it.
there's people.
I couldn't remember his
screaming.
name. I was like, the
People
Walter
screaming
Mitty
at
show.
their phones now,
Jesus.
knowing
Oh,
that
I
it's
had
Truman
it.
Show.
Yeah. Well, Chris wins this week. Keyword countdown. 6 points to 3. I'm going to keep a tally of every time that I do this.
Aw,
I think
can we
it's
not
quite
refresh?
fun. No, you cannot.
I want a clean slate.
But that was good. That was the last bit of stupendous stuff we've got. Moving on to horrendous. Avatar 2's been delayed. Does anyone care?
Nope.
So Star Wars Episode 8 has just been delayed from summer 2017 to Christmas 2017. I actually forgot it was coming out summer 2017.
How are they going to make that happen?
So I
Madness.
literally lost nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't mind
So
this coming
you
out. But
clearly
then
don't care about
straight
Avatar.
after that, then like shortly after that, it was announced that Avatar 2 has been delayed, and they haven't even given it another release date.
Yeah.
It's been in development for so long.
I know. Does anyone still care?
I've written so many stories over the last
Yeah.
sort of 7 or 8 years about that movie. I don't know. It made $2 billion. Like
Yeah.
it's a big deal. But had they left it too long? I don't know. James Cameron, whenever you write him off, he'll
Yeah.
come back and surprise you. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see him do something else.
At what point do the studio just go, mate, come on, that's enough now? Because it seems like a lot of this stuff is happening all the time. So
I think they won't, though, as long as they have some sort of hope that it's going to make somewhere near the amount of money the first
guess
one
so,
did.
yeah.
They're should probably
I
just
just-
say keep him
I
about
just
it.
want to see something new and fresh and original from him.
Yeah.
You know, that was an amazing thing that he achieved. You know, it's just there's so, you know, once he's gone, there'll be so few James Cameron films.
yeah,
And it's a shame, really. We deserve
this-
one every couple of
I
years.
know, and to
Yeah.
think of like a new film that's returning to the Avatar universe. The
Yeah.
Avatar universe.
You
Sam
know,
Withers
that's-
must be gutted because his career has just taken such a nosedive. Because he came out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden it was like, you know, when Hollywood just decides, oh, this is the dude,
He's the new-
this is the
yeah,
guy
yeah.
that's going to be in all the films, and then he's kind of stopped a little bit. Although he is really good in Everest, even though he's got a tiny part in that. But
Battle Angel Attila, I think, is the name
yeah.
of the one that the other thing he developed at the same time as Avatar.
Alita, yeah,
Go,
it's really
sorry,
good.
yeah, go and do that. Go and do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's not going to listen to us.
Prove us wrong. That's what I say.
Rory, what's horrendous for you? Passwords,
What is
apparently.
horrendous is that people are still using some of the worst passwords. So recently, it was revealed that a company called Splash Data released some of the worst passwords for 2015. Gav said there isn't enough games on this podcast. Let's step it up a bit, guys. Let's see if you guys can guess.
Oh, you've done a little game.
I've done a little game.
See,
I've
this
done a
is
little
good for
game.
me because, like, Krupa, like, I told him not to do this, but Krupa's been replying to some comments in the Facebook group. Because a lot of people, as we've changed
I like the Facebook
as we've changed like the dates of the podcast goes out, lots of people were sort of worried that they were going to start getting old news. I kind of argue if you come to this podcast just for your news, there's probably better places you can come to. It doesn't matter what we
IGN.com.
record it. Exactly.
Perfect for news.
So I kind of like, you know, us
Doing some
moving
fun
away
stuff.
from news stories to
totally.
talking about hyperloops and passwords. For
Exactly.
It. So what?
Well, the
have you got?
Hyperloop, of course, is going to be old news by Friday. Everyone's going to have heard about that. They'll be swearing at me listening to the podcast.
There isn't any. We've not even spoken about games once, though.
I did have a game in there. I did have.
It doesn't matter. It's not in it now.
All right, yeah,
so.
it doesn't matter. Destiny 2 is delayed. All right, it's over. Let's see if you guys can guess. I've picked 10 of the worst ones.
All right.
So let's see if you can guess 10 of the worst passwords.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's one. Yep.
Okay.
Congratulations.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Password 1.
There's a variant of that, which is ABC 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I got it.
That is one of the worst ones. Yeah.
Password.
Password.
Yeah.
Well, Gav's killing it. Chris, come on, you're falling behind. Gav's got 100 points. You've got -3. How about that? Huh? Do you understand the game, Chris? Do you want me to teach you?
How do you like them apples? 007.
No. Oh, here's a good one, actually. We think it's because of, obviously, Star Wars coming back, but a lot of them are, top 3 are Star Wars related.
No way.
Not the top 3, but
The Force
3 of the top
Awakens?
ones. No, way simpler.
Jedi.
The people who are doing...
Luke Skywalker.
No.
Han Solo. Chewie.
Close.
8 Solo.
Kylo Ren.
Even more simpler than that.
Solo.
Yeah. Solo. Nailed it.
Leia.
Leia's not one, but you're very
Darth.
close. You're very close with Leia.
Princess.
Jar Jar.
Princess is another one.
Princess?
Princess.
Are you sure those are Star Wars related? Princess be Star Wars related?
Well, there's one that's just Star Wars. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that's Star Wars related.
Yeah.
No, it might be after the political defense program in America in the 80s.
Could be.
So there's 3 more. There's 3 more on my list. There's a very popular one that's pretty simple.
Sex.
No.
Bleh.
It's to do with keyboard layout.
Oh, like QWERTY.
QWERTY.
Okay.
That's one. You got 2
Welcome.
left. Welcome is actually one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Sorry,
Nice.
now you have 2 left.
I'm just thinking about what my passwords are.
Again, everyone's like, shit, change their passwords while they're listening to the podcast.
I don't know, man.
The last 2 are login and football.
Football.
Football. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that works because it could be American football or,
Yeah.
the bad football. But either way, you'd think we'd be in an age where people would be smart enough to do more complex passwords
Yeah,
than
I
Star Wars.
I definitely need to change my
Yeah, now.
Chris is like, yeah, totally. Who would have princess?
Okay, so final bit of horrendous stuff that's happened this week. Like
I don't know what this is. So what have you done?
I've talked on this podcast a bunch of times about the rules that I have when going to the cinema and how if anyone breaks those rules, I kind of go mad at them or, just tell them, stop talking, get off your phone, all that different stuff. I had 3 different texts from 3 different people this week, dobbing in my girlfriend who tweeted whilst watching The Revenant that she was bored watching The Revenant.
Oh my God.
And a little bit of my heart died.
Oh, you're
Like-
going to be sick.
So many, I had...
How did she take the breakup?
Well, I had a text and I spoke to her after. She was like, "Oh, it was in my jacket. No one could see it." I was like, "Doesn't matter.
No excuses.
Do not do it." And even I'm not particularly fond of The Revenant, and I told her, "You're not going to like The Revenant. Do not go see it."
It's a long movie.
And she still went and saw it, and then did that. And I was like,
I feel physically sick.
I know. I didn't know what to do. It was really sad.
That is quite sad.
So yeah, I just felt like I had to get that off my chest.
That's even worse as well because I've been in the spot where you have the temptation where for some reason as soon as the movie starts your phone goes like BS crazy and it starts vibrating even though like no one has texted or called all day and it starts going nuts and you think a family member has died or something. That's like one thing and then you can like maybe go to the bathroom and check it, but then to actually be the person who's sending out the message, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Subhuman scum.
Awful. Well, I was actually with someone once. I was just literally as the film started. He had a text. He was checking Facebook just during the trailers, and it was just before the film started. And he'd read a status that one of his friends had died, and he was like, his face. I was like, "You okay?" And he was like, "I think like someone's died." So he was trying to work out if it was real or not.
Oh
And I was like, in this really awkward position where
You didn't tell him to stop.
no, I was in this really awkward position where he had his phone on. I was like, I said to him, "Let's just go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's just leave now." And he was like, "No, I don't know if it's real or not." And I was like, "Doesn't matter. Let's just we'll go to the pub. We'll find out if it's real, and then you need to sort this out." Because obviously he was really upset if this person was dead, and I kind of was just like, he still was just checking his phone and stuff, and I was like, "Come on, man, let's just go." And he didn't go, and so we sat through all of This Is the End.
Oh my God, of all films as well.
I know, which is pretty bad.
Do I want to know if it was real or not?
Was he going through every
was
one
real.
of his Facebook friends,
no.
seeing if they were alive or dead? Just each one of them. Checking status update.
He's like, he's alive. He's
It wasn't
alive.
someone
thank
dead
fuck.
now, was it?
It was someone was dead. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Someone was
Yeah.
actually dead. Yeah.
I'm glad I made a joke.
Yeah.
It's a good way to round things up, yeah.
But that is a good way to round off the horrendous things. Do we have any feedback?
Don't know. Did you bring any?
No, I asked you to bring some.
I was wondering. I was like, I don't have any.
I didn't see that. No, weirdly, this is the first week ever we didn't get any feedback. So
Oh, excellent. That's fine. Yeah,
And it's weird because next week we're going to have twice as much as well. I'm sure.
yeah, that's going to be strange. Shall I find a bit now while you're talking about yourself? I'll find one piece.
Truman Show. That was a
by
movie.
Googling
Yeah.
feedback. Something not nasty.
Okay, something
Because
really.
we've had some nasty ones lately.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Yeah, people just being a bit nasty one about me and you.
No?
Yeah, which Rory, I read to Rory because
'cause it was nice
Rory,
about me.
says Rory's great and we were terrible
Yeah.
and we shouldn't bully Rory.
it was quite nice.
It's not bullying. Do you feel
Playful,
bullied?
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I talked to,
Oh, this
talked to
looks
Alex
nice.
after the podcast.
Okay.
So this is from, I haven't read this, so this is going blind, but it starts out with a compliment. So
Oh.
it's from Michael Colbeck. Thanks, Michael.
Okay.
Hey guys, great podcast. Just wanted to say that American TV series often start out really badly, then become awesome. So I don't think the first 2 episodes can determine
Oh,
how
right,
good
okay,
they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
This mostly applies to comedies like The US Office and Parks and Recs.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I just think
true.
it takes them a while to get the characters right. So if someone is recommending a show that gets great, they may well be right. That's a good point, actually. I think it does apply more to
Comedies.
I think I would
Definitely.
agree
Yeah.
with you there.
Yeah.
Because often with the drama you can get a sense, but some dramas do get better. But just
Yeah.
in this day and age, with the way it's being packaged,
Yeah.
you can't stick around for that long.
No.
There's too much good stuff and too much bad stuff.
I also think with comedies, especially like comedies like Parks and Rec and The Office, which
Yeah.
like you can dip in anywhere in those, and like there is kind of an overarching storyline, but
Yeah, but
you can
it's
kind
just-
of dip
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Whereas I really like to have like faith that the writers, producers, and directors of like a 13 episode show or 24 episode show like know exactly where that show is going.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an excuse that the characters need to develop and stuff like that, because they should already be well developed, I think,
Yeah.
before you even start shooting.
I guess I understand where he's coming from. I mean, one of my favorite comedies of all time, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I found it really hard to get into at the start, and then
Yeah.
of course the more it gets on, the more you
Yeah.
enjoy it. And it is literally just because of in the first season, the limitations
Yeah.
set by the studio meant
Yeah.
that they had to be a certain type of character.
Yeah.
And then of course towards the end, when they're given the creative freedom,
Yeah.
the characters have all been escalated to the points
Yeah.
of insanity within their own characteristics, and they're much more interesting. But of course, they
Yeah.
couldn't have done that in the first season, because if
No.
you try to pitch that as a synopsis,
Yeah,
it would have been
definitely-
shot down.
That definitely happens with Parks and Rec. When I recommend people
Yeah.
to watch Parks and Rec, I say don't even watch the first season and skip straight to the second season, because from the second season onwards, everyone is in their zone and everyone knows what each other's character is. Like Chris Pratt's character in the first series is a dick. And
Yeah,
you're just
he's
kind of like,
just-
he's not funny and he's really mean, and you don't get his sort of like soft, nice side until well into the second season.
Yeah, he's just like that, like rock star
Exactly,
kind of
yeah.
like lazy guy.
But
then he just
yeah.
becomes all
got-
sweet and
I
adorable.
found some more feedback.
Nice.
Amazing.
That's good.
I've collected it all together.
Okay.
This is from Max Spalding, who
Hi, Max.
says,
Good name.
thanks to Gav's recommendation, I started Friday Night Lights just over a week ago and I'm already on season 4.
Boom.
Love it. The story is very well written. The characters are really engaging and you genuinely care what happens to them. I know Krupa has also now watched it, so I was wondering who your favourite characters were and why. I have to say Riggins is my favourite, the brooding number 33.
Yeah.
Also, why did JD become a massive dick between seasons 3 and 4? Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Thanks, Max.
Favorite characters? Rory, you've seen all this as well, haven't you?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't.
Oh, I thought you had.
I might as well watch it now because I have
Yeah.
nothing invested in the real football.
Coach and his wife, I think that is one of the best husband-wife combinations on telly. I think it's really, really good. I think like the way that they interact about some stuff, and like things crop up in their relationship and you think, oh, that's a bit rubbish that they've decided to go for that like trope, and the way they deal with it is different to every other couple on telly.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
I think that's a show that absolutely. My brother is a huge
Yeah.
fan of it, and he told me to watch the first episode or
Yeah.
two. Did not get into it, but then apparently it gets
yeah, and then
fantastic.
Michael B. Jordan comes into it as well, and he's brilliant in it. And he
I should
plays a
really check it
good
out.
character.
I should check it out.
Have you seen the Amy Schumer spoof?
Yeah,
It's really good because she manages to spoof not only Friday Night Lights but also rape
yeah.
in the space of one sketch, and
No.
it's absolutely brilliant.
It's
I
really
thought it was
bang on,
so
yeah.
clever,
Yeah.
and I love that every time it cuts back to her as the wife, she's got a bigger glass of wine.
Wine,
So by
yeah.
the end, it's like this big.
Yeah, that is really, really good.
Very good. So yeah, some great feedback there. Thank you for writing in.
Yeah.
If people want to write in, what's the address, Rory?
IGN _UK feedback at IGN.com.
That is correct.
Yes. I haven't had to say it in a while.
And that's that. So thank you for listening. Thanks for
Thank you very
watching.
much.
And don't forget to Google Glasgow Film Festival IGN and come join us on February the 24th if you can.
And Penguins. Watch the Penguins video.
It was such a strong ending.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You wrecked it.
Oh.
It's all right.
I'll try and walk out.
Bye.
Bye.